Leadership styles. The word style is the way in which the leader influences followers. Let's have a look at the various studies that helps us to understand the leadership styles. Hawthorne studies. Mayo and Roethlisberger's did a series of studies from 1924 to 1932 in an electricity companies at Illinois in USA. These studies are known as Hawthorne studies. One phase of these studies aimed at finding out if changes in illumination, rest period, and lunch breaks can affect the productivity of the workers. It was found to the surprise of the researchers that less right, shorter and fewer rest period and shorter lunch breaks results resulted in increased productivity. And once all these changes were eliminated and the normal working conditions were resumed, it was also seen that the workers' productivity and the feelings of being together went up. The increases in productivity was attributed to the attitude of workers towards each other and their feelings of togetherness. In addition, attention paid to the workers by researchers made them feel important, which resulted in improvement in their work performance. This is known as Hawthorne effect. This finding made Mayo and Roethlisberger conclude that a leader has not only to plan, decide, organize, lead, and control, but also consider them human element. This includes social needs of being together and being recognized for the work interaction of the group members with each other and their well-being. A good leader ought to keep the above aspects in his styles of working with people and surviving their work. Theory X and Y. McGregor 1960 categorized leadership styles into two broad categories having two different beliefs and assumption and subordinates. He called these theories X and theory Y. The theory X style of leadership believes that most people dislike work and will avoid it wherever possible. Such leaders feel they themselves are a small but important group who wants to lead and take responsibility, but the large majority of the people wants to be directed and avoid responsibility. Therefore, this style of leadership exercises strong control and direction and wherever necessary punish people if they do not do the work. If people do not work as desired, they may even get monetary or other rewards. Theory why leaders assume that the peoples will work hard and assume responsibility if they can satisfy their personal needs and the objectives or goal of their organization. Such leaders do not sharply distinguish between the leaders and the followers in contrast to the theory X style. They feel that people control themselves within rather than being controlled by other from outside, such as a leader or a manager or a supervisor. An effective leader needs to examine carefully his own ideas about the motivation and behavior of subordinates and others, as well as the situations before adopting a particular style of leadership. Iowa Leadership Studies. In 1939, Lippitt and White, under the direction of Levin, did a study of three different styles of leadership in the task performance of 10-year-old boys in the three groups. The authoritarian leader of the group was very directive. He did not allow any participation. He was concerned about the task and told the managers what to do and how to do it. He was friendly while praising the performance of the individual members and was impersonal while criticizing the individual members. In the other group, the democratic leader encouraged discussion with the group and allowed participation in making decisions. He shared his leadership responsibility with his followers and involved them in the planning and execution of the task. The laissez faire leaders of a third group gave a complete freedom of the group and did not provide any leadership. He did not establish any policies or procedures to do the task. Each member was let alone, no one attempted to influence the others. The researchers selected boys of the same intelligence level. Each group did the same task of making paper masks or model airplanes or mural or carvings. The room used by the three group remained the same. The three group leaders assumed different styles as they shifted every 6 weeks from group to group. Thus, researchers under the direction of Levin, who did several studies on group, were trying to see how different styles of leadership could change the satisfaction, frustration, aggression level of the individuals. One definite finding was that 19 out of 20 boys liked the democratic leadership style. That kind of a leader never tries to boss over them. Yet they had plenty to do. The only boy who liked the authoritarian style of leadership happened to be the son of an army officer. It was also observed that 7 out of 10 boys preferred the laissez faire leader to the autocratic one, as they preferred confusion and disorder to strictness and rigidly present in the autocratic style. Boys under the latter style exhibited more of aggressive, hostile, and indifferent behavior as compared to their counterpart under other styles of leadership. They either showed hostility or cracked joke about hostility towards others. Other belongings to the democratic style of leadership shows less aggressive and more indifferent behavior when brought under the autocratic style of leader. Even under the laissez-faire styles of the leaders, boys committed more aggressive acts than the ones under the democratic style. Of course, a study on 10 years old boys is making paper masks or soap carving, etc., cannot be compared to leader behavior of adults with complex jobs, but like the studies of Mayo and Roethlisberger, the studies by Lewis, Lippitt, and White are a pioneering effort in understanding leadership styles from the point of scientific methodology. They also throw light on how different styles of leadership can produce different complex reactions from the same or similar groups. Michigan studies on leadership styles. Likert at University Likert 1961 at University of Michigan Survey Research Center identified two major styles of leadership orientation: employee orientation and production orientation. The employees oriented style of the leader emphasizes the relationships aspects of the jobs of individuals. Such a leader takes interest in every one and aspect the individuality and personal needs of the individual. He has complete confidence and trust in all matters in his subordinates. His subordinates feels free to discuss things about their job with their superiors. He always asks subordinates for ideas and opinions and always try to make constructive use of them. The production oriented styles of the leader emphasizes productions and technical aspects of the job. He looks at subordinates or employees as tools to accomplish the goals of the organization. Working condition, and work methods are tried to be understood better in his style of the leadership orientation. Likert related these orientations to the performance of the employees. He showed that the employee oriented style brought high producing performance compared to production oriented styles. Of course, the satisfaction of employees was not directly related to productivity in Likert's study. Ohio State Study on Leadership Style. Stockdale 1957 at the Bureau of Business Research at Ohio State University initiated a series of researches on leadership in 1945. He, along with his colleagues, studied leader behavior in numerous types of groups and situations by using a leader behavior description questionnaire LBDQ. The studies was conducted on Air Force commanders and members of bombers crews, officers, non-commissioned personnel, civilian administrator in the Navy Department, manufacturing superiors, executives, teachers, principals, and school superintendents and leaders of various civilians groups. They did not have any satisfactory definition of leadership. They also did not think leadership in synonymous with good leadership. The LBDQ was administered in a wide variety of situations, and surprisingly, two dimensions of leadership continually emerged from the study. One is consideration, and the other is initiating structure. Consideration reflects the extent to which individuals are likely to have job relationship characterized by mutual respects of subordinates ideas and consideration of subordinates feelings. You may like to describe it as the behavior of the leader indicating friendship, mutual trust, respect, and warmth in the relationship between the leaders and this group members. Initiating structure reflects the extent to which individuals are likely to define the structures, their roles, and those who of their subordinates towards goals attainment. In other words, it is the behavior of the leaders which deals with the relationship between himself and the work group and tries to establish well defined pattern of organization, channels of communication, and method of procedures. Example of observed behavior of the leader under consideration and initiating structured are as follows. Consideration. The leaders find time to listen to group members, and the leaders is willingly to make change. The leader is friendly and approachable, and in initiating structure, the leaders assign group members to particular tasks. The leaders ask the group members to follow standard rules and regulations. The leader lets group members know what is expected of them. Scientific manager's style. Tyler, 1911, stressed the best way of doing a job. He emphasized the importance of having management and labor worked in harmony to maximize profits. The basis of his scientific management was technological in nature. It was felt that the best way to increase output was to improve the techniques or methods used by workers. Therefore, profits can be maximized by using a systematic and scientifically based approaches to the study of jobs. Taylor was not trained as a manager. He relied on scientific study of time and movement spent and used for the job to improve the performance of the worker. According to the scientific managerial style, management of a work organized must be divorced from human affairs and emotions, and people have to adjust the management and not management to the people. Once jobs are recognized with the efficiency in mind, the economic self interest of the workers could be satisfied through various incentives work plan such as piece rates, system of payments, etc. The leader of is assumed to be the most competent individuals in planning and organizing the work of subordinates according to Taylor's principles of scientific management. Various studies reflecting different styles of functioning of a leader have been started above, which highlights how the leader simultaneously pays attention to the A task to be accomplished by the group and B needs and expectation of the group and its individual members. Exactly how the leader goes about attending to those two functions in a matter of his leadership style, many theories have been suggested by the researcher regarding which leadership style is most effective. Even the above two functions can have different descriptions for different leaders, but in course of time every leader develops a particular style which reflects his own idea and perspectives on the relative importance of task and people. We should now consider in what ways we can enrich the understanding of various styles of leadership by making ourselves familiar with some important theories of leadership.